Have you ever found yourself in a business meeting, knowing exactly what you want to say, but struggling to find the right words in English? Or perhaps you've sent an important email and wondered if your message came across as professional as you intended. If you're nodding along, you're not alone. Millions of non-native English speakers navigate the business world every day, and the quest to sound more professional in English is a common challenge that unites professionals across continents. The good news is that sounding professional in business English isn't about achieving native speaker perfection. It's about mastering specific communication strategies, understanding cultural nuances, and building confidence in your abilities. Whether you're preparing for an important presentation, drafting crucial emails, or simply wanting to contribute more effectively in meetings, this comprehensive guide will equip you with practical tools and techniques to elevate your professional English communication. Understanding professional business English differs significantly from casual conversation or academic English. It's a specialized form of communication characterized by clarity, precision, and purpose. When we talk about professional English, we're referring to a communication style that conveys competence, credibility, and respect for your audience's time and attention. The foundation of professional business English rests on several key principles. First, it prioritizes clarity over complexity. While it might be tempting to use sophisticated vocabulary to impress others, the most effective business communication uses clear, straightforward language that leaves no room for misinterpretation. Second, it maintains a balance between formality and approachability. The level of formality varies depending on your industry, company culture, and specific situation, but professional English generally avoids both extreme casualness and excessive formality. Another crucial aspect is cultural awareness. Business English isn't just about language, it's about understanding the cultural contexts in which that language operates. What's considered professional in one culture might seem too direct or too indirect in another. For instance, American business culture often values directness and efficiency, while Japanese business culture might emphasize politeness and indirect communication. Understanding these nuances helps you adapt your communication style appropriately. Building your professional vocabulary. Expanding your professional vocabulary is like adding tools to your communication toolkit. The more precise and varied your vocabulary, the better equipped you are to express complex ideas clearly and persuasively. However, building a professional vocabulary isn't about memorizing obscure words from a business dictionary. It's about strategically learning and practicing words and phrases that are commonly used in your specific industry and professional contexts. Start by identifying the core vocabulary of your field. Every industry has its own jargon and commonly used terms. In finance, you might frequently encounter terms like leverage, liquidity, and portfolio diversification. In technology, words like scalability, integration, and optimization are part of daily conversation. Make a conscious effort to learn not just the definitions of these terms, but also how they're used in context. Pay attention to how your colleagues and industry leaders use these terms in meetings, presentations, and written communications. Beyond industry, specific terminology, there's a set of versatile professional phrases that can enhance your communication across various situations. Phrases like, "I'd like to propose," could you elaborate on? And to summarize our discussion, serve as professional connectors that help structure your thoughts and guide conversations. These phrases signal competence and help you navigate business discussions smoothly. One effective strategy for vocabulary building is the input-output method. For input, immerse yourself in professional English through business podcasts, industry publications, and professional development videos. Take note of recurring phrases and expressions. For output, practice using new vocabulary in low-stakes situations before incorporating it into important communications. Write practice emails using new phrases or rehearse presentations incorporating recently learned terminology. Mastering email communication. Email remains the backbone of business communication, and mastering professional email writing is essential for career success. A well-crafted email can open doors, build relationships, and drive projects forward. Conversely, poorly written emails can damage your professional reputation and hinder your effectiveness. The structure of a professional email follows a clear pattern that helps readers quickly understand your message and take appropriate action. Begin with a clear, specific subject line that summarizes the email's purpose. Instead of vague subjects like question or update, use specific ones like proposal for Q3000 marketing campaign, response needed by Friday, or meeting rescheduled to Thursday, March 15 at 2 p.m. While your email opening sets the tone for the entire message, start with an appropriate greeting based on your relationship with the recipient and your company culture. Dear Mr. Johnson might be appropriate for formal communications with external clients, while I, Sarah, could work for internal communications with familiar colleagues. After the greeting, consider including a brief pleasantry or context setting statement, especially if you haven't communicated recently. Something like, I hope this email finds you well, or thank you for your presentation yesterday. Helps establish a professional yet personable tone. The body of your email should be concise and organized. State your purpose clearly in the first paragraph. If you're making multiple points, consider using short paragraphs or bullet points to improve readability. Each paragraph should focus on a single idea, and transitions between paragraphs should be smooth and logical. Use clear, action-oriented language that tells the reader exactly what you need from them. Professional email writing also involves understanding what not to do. Avoid using all caps, which comes across as shouting. Be cautious with humor, as it can be easily misinterpreted in written form, especially across cultures. Steer clear of overly casual language like hey or ASAP, unless you're certain it's appropriate for your audience. Always proofread before sending, checking not just for spelling and grammar errors, but also for tone and clarity. Excelling in meetings and presentations. Meetings and presentations offer unique challenges for non-native speakers, combining the pressures of real-time communication with the need to project confidence and authority. However, with proper preparation and practice, these situations can become opportunities to showcase your expertise and build your professional reputation. Preparation is your greatest ally when it comes to meetings and presentations. Before any meeting, review the agenda and prepare relevant vocabulary and phrases you might need. If you're presenting, practice your presentation multiple times, focusing not just on content but on delivery. Record yourself to identify areas where you might stumble or where your pronunciation needs work. Prepare for potential questions by brainstorming what your audience might ask and practicing your responses. During meetings, active participation demonstrates engagement and professionalism. Use professional phrases to contribute effectively. I'd like to add to that point. From my perspective, or building on what John mentioned, these phrases help you enter conversations smoothly and signal that you have something valuable to contribute. When you need clarification, don't hesitate to ask. Phrases like, "Could you clarify what you mean by," or "just to ensure I understand correctly," show that you're engaged and committed to understanding fully. Managing nervousness is crucial for effective communication. Remember that a slight accent or occasional grammatical error doesn't diminish the value of your ideas. Focus on speaking clearly and at a measured pace rather than rushing through your points. Pause strategically to gather your thoughts and emphasize important points. These pauses, which might feel uncomfortable to you, actually enhance your communication by giving your audience time to process information. When presenting, structure is your friend. Use clear signposting language to guide your audience through your presentation. First, I'll discuss moving on to our second point. In conclusion, this structure helps both you and your audience follow the flow of ideas. Visual aids can also support your verbal communication, but ensure they complement rather than replace your spoken message. Navigating phone and video calls present unique challenges in business communication, particularly for non-native speakers who can't rely on visual cues or body language in the case of phone calls. These communication channels require specific strategies to ensure clear, professional interaction. For phone calls, preparation is essential. Before making an important call, write down key points you want to cover and any specific vocabulary you might need. Have relevant documents readily available so you're not scrambling for information during the call. When you begin the call, speak slightly more slowly and clearly than you might in face-to-face conversation. The absence of visual cues means your voice carries the entire burden of communication. Develop strategies for managing comprehension challenges during calls. If you don't understand something, don't pretend you do. Use professional phrases to ask for clarification. "I'm sorry. Could you repeat that?" Or, "The connection seems a bit unclear. Could you say that again?" If you're struggling with a particular accent or speaking speed, you might say, "Could you speak a bit more slowly? I want to make sure I capture all the important details." Video calls combine elements of face-to-face meetings with the technical challenges of remote communication. Ensure your technology is working properly before the call begins. Position your camera at eye level and ensure good lighting so others can see you clearly. Maintain eye contact by looking at the camera rather than your own image on screen. This small adjustment makes a significant difference in how engaged and professional you appear. During video calls, be mindful of potential audio delays. Pause slightly longer than you might in person before responding to avoid talking over others. If you're presenting during a video call, share your screen effectively and use verbal cues to direct attention, since you can't point or use physical gestures as effectively as in person. Writing professional reports and proposals. Reports and proposals represent some of the most formal and important business writing you'll do. These documents often influence significant decisions and reflect directly on your professional capabilities. Mastering this form of writing requires understanding both structure and style. Professional reports follow a logical structure that guides readers through complex information. Begin with an executive summary that captures the key points for busy readers who might not read the entire document. This summary should stand alone, providing enough information for someone to understand the main findings and recommendations without reading further. Follow this with a clear introduction that establishes context and outlines the report's structure. The body of your report should be organized into clear sections with descriptive headings. Each section should flow logically to the next, building your argument or presenting your findings systematically. Use topic sentences to begin each paragraph, clearly stating the main point before providing supporting details. This structure helps readers follow your reasoning, even if English isn't their first language either. Data presentation requires special attention in reports. When presenting statistics or research findings, provide clear context and interpretation. Don't assume readers will draw the same conclusions from raw data that you do. Use phrases like, "This data suggests that," or "These findings indicate," to guide interpretation. Visual elements like charts and graphs can enhance understanding, but always include written explanations of what these visuals show. Your writing style in reports should be formal, but not unnecessarily complex. Use active voice when possible to make your writing more direct and easier to understand. Instead of, "It was determined by the committee that," write, "The committee determined that." Avoid overly long sentences that might confuse readers. If a sentence extends beyond 2 lines, consider breaking it into 2 shorter sentences. Developing your professional speaking voice. Your speaking voice is a powerful tool in professional communication. How you speak often matters as much as what you say. Developing a professional speaking voice involves working on several elements: pace, tone, pronunciation, and intonation. Pace is particularly important for non-native speakers. Speaking too quickly can make you harder to understand and might increase errors. Speaking too slowly might make you seem uncertain or unprepared. Find a middle ground that allows for clear articulation while maintaining engagement. Practice reading business texts aloud, timing yourself to develop a sense of appropriate pace. Record yourself speaking and listen critically. Are you rushing through certain phrases? Are there places where you could pause for emphasis? Tone conveys attitude and emotion, even in professional settings. A professional tone is confident without being arrogant, friendly without being overly casual. It varies based on context. You might use a more formal tone when presenting to senior executives and a more relaxed tone in team brainstorming sessions. Practice modulating your tone by reading the same sentence with different intentions: informative, persuasive, questioning, or authoritative. Pronunciation clarity is crucial for professional communication. While you don't need to eliminate your accent entirely, you should work on pronouncing key professional vocabulary clearly. Focus particularly on industry, specific terms, and commonly used business words. Use online pronunciation guides or apps to practice challenging words. Pay special attention to word stress, as misplaced stress can make words difficult to understand. Intonation, the rise and fall of your voice, helps convey meaning and maintain listener engagement. In English, Rising intonation often indicates questions or uncertainty, while falling intonation suggests statements or confidence. Practice using intonation to emphasize key points and maintain interest during longer speaking segments. Monotone delivery, regardless of accent, makes it harder for listeners to stay engaged. Building confidence through practice through confidence is perhaps the most important element in sounding professional. When you speak with confidence, minor language imperfections become less noticeable and your expertise shines through. Building this confidence requires consistent, strategic practice. Create regular opportunities for low-stakes practice. Join professional English conversation groups or online forums where you can discuss business topics with other learners and native speakers. Participate in webinars and online discussions related to your field. The more you practice professional communication in comfortable settings, the more natural it becomes in high-stakes situations. Role-playing exercises can be particularly effective. Practice common business scenarios with a colleague or friend. Conducting a job interview, leading a meeting, negotiating a contract, or delivering bad news professionally. These rehearsals help you develop automatic responses to common situations, reducing anxiety when they occur in real life. Seek feedback actively but selectively. Find a trusted colleague or mentor who can provide constructive feedback on your professional English. Be specific about what kind of feedback you want: pronunciation, email writing, presentation skills, so they can focus their attention effectively. Remember that not all feedback is equally valuable. Native speakers who aren't familiar with language learning might not provide the most helpful guidance. Develop a personal improvement plan. Identify your specific challenges and create targeted practice activities. If email writing is difficult, commit to drafting one practice email daily. If pronunciation is your challenge, spend 10 minutes daily with pronunciation apps or videos. Consistent, focused practice yields better results than sporadic, general efforts. Understanding cultural nuances in business communication, professional communication, never occurs in a cultural vacuum. Understanding and adapting to cultural differences in business communication styles can significantly enhance your professional effectiveness. This cultural intelligence becomes even more important in our increasingly globalized business environment. Different cultures have varying expectations about directness in communication. In some cultures, direct communication is valued as efficient and honest. Saying, "I disagree with this proposal," might be perfectly appropriate. In other cultures, such directness might be considered rude or confrontational. You might need to say something like, "I see your point, and I wonder if we might also consider alternative approaches." Understanding your audience's cultural background helps you calibrate your communication style appropriately. The concept of hierarchy also varies significantly across cultures. In some business environments, it's expected that junior employees defer to senior colleagues, using formal titles and indirect language when expressing disagreement. In other environments, flat organizational structures encourage direct communication regardless of seniority. Pay attention to how others in your organization navigate these hierarchical relationships and adjust accordingly. Time perception differs across cultures and affects business communication. In some cultures, getting straight to business is professional and respectful of everyone's time. In others, relationship building through small talk is an essential precursor to business discussions. Notice patterns in your workplace. Do meetings start immediately with agenda items, or do they begin with personal check-ins? Do emails launch directly into requests, or do they include personal pleasantries? Non-verbal communication also carries cultural weight. In video calls and face-to-face meetings, be aware that gestures, eye contact patterns, and personal space preferences vary by culture. What seems professional and engaged in one culture might seem aggressive or disrespectful in another. When in doubt, observe how others in your professional environment behave and follow their lead. Leveraging technology for continuous improvement, modern technology offers unprecedented opportunities for improving your professional English. From AI-powered writing assistants to specialized pronunciation apps, these tools can accelerate your learning and provide ongoing support. Writing enhancement tools like grammar checkers can help you identify and correct errors in real time. However, use these tools as learning aids rather than crutches. When a tool suggests a correction, take time to understand why. Look for patterns in your errors and create focused practice exercises to address them. Some tools provide explanations for their suggestions, helping you learn rules and patterns rather than just making corrections. Language learning apps designed for business English can provide structured practice in professional contexts. Look for apps that focus on business scenarios rather than general conversation. The best apps combine vocabulary building, pronunciation practice, and real-world application. Set aside regular time for app-based practice, treating it as professional development rather than casual learning. Podcast and video resources offer authentic professional English input. Subscribe to business podcasts in your field, paying attention not just to content, but to how speakers structure their arguments, transition between topics, and handle questions. TED Talks and business YouTube channels provide models of professional presentation styles. Shadow speaking, repeating what speakers say immediately after they say it can help you internalize professional speaking patterns. Online communities and forums provide opportunities for written practice and feedback. Participate in LinkedIn discussions in your field, contributing thoughtful comments and posts. Join professional subreddits or specialized forums where business topics are discussed. These platforms allow you to practice written professional English while building your professional network. Overcoming common challenges. Every non-native speaker faces challenges in professional English communication. Recognizing these challenges and developing strategies to address them is crucial for continuous improvement. Imposter syndrome often affects non-native speakers in professional settings. You might feel like your language limitations diminish your professional credibility. Combat this by focusing on your unique strengths. Your multilingual abilities, cross-cultural understanding, and diverse perspective are valuable assets. Many successful global business leaders are non-native English speakers who've leveraged their unique backgrounds as strengths rather than viewing them as limitations. Perfectionism can paradoxically hinder your professional communication. Waiting until your English is perfect before contributing to discussions or pursuing opportunities means missing valuable chances for growth and impact. Embrace good enough communication that effectively conveys your message, even if it's not grammatically perfect. Your ideas and expertise matter more than flawless grammar. Listening comprehension in group settings poses particular challenges.